Ho ho boardies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Ciconia When They Cry. Not a sequel as such, but a continuation from the When They Cry series by 7th expansion. When They Cry 5, apparently. I've played Doom and Echo. I've not played Higurashi, but I've... is that even how you say it? Higurasha? I've played Echo all the way through. I might do that again for this channel, but who knows if I get around to that. I've not played the first one, but I have watched the anime, if that has any creds in it. So I've got some experience with it, but apart from that, I don't know what this is about. Let's just jump straight in. I think there's a prologue that we need to read, so let's do that first. To fly freely at the speed of sound, like a fighter jet. To fiercely withstand all attacks like a tank. To wield the weaponry of a fortress, a warship. What if all these superpowers were compressed into the left arm of a single soldier? I'm not talking about some sort of comic book hero. What you're looking at is the next generation of soldiers who will defend world peace. The aerial augmented infantry, otherwise known as the Gauntlet Knights. This elegant gauntlet, worn on the left arm and reminiscent of medieval knights, contains all the weaponry and technology humanity has given birth to thus far. It controls all the 8MS in their bodies and the surrounding air, enabling them to free themselves from the laws of the surface world and surpass them. Ooh. The video showed a lone boy soldier wearing a gauntlet on his left arm, standing on a massive airstrip. A whistle blew and his body floated upwards about 10 centimeters. He literally was floating. Cutting-edge 8MS techniques made it possible to create and control force fields, releasing his body from gravity. The whistle blew again and his floating body danced like a bird, flitting about the space over the airstrip at will. Gauntlets give soldiers the same mobility as an aircraft. Their maximum speed is of no way inferior to the best fighter jets from around the world. And the powerful Gs that would normally put a harsh burden on them have been eased thanks to the anti-G 8MS in their bodies. This allows them to fly in ways pilots of existing aircraft could never even dream of. Oh. And when taken to an extreme, even ricochet flying is possible. The video changes scenes. A Gauntlet Knight practicing in the skies above the training grounds was being recorded from behind by a friendly plane in pursuit. One moment the Gauntlet Knight was flying in the elegant, familiar way of a plane, and the next its trajectory became complicated and bizarre, as if it was being bounced at odd angles like the diffuse reflection of light. Because it looked like they were rebounding fiercely off the walls of a pipe as they flew, this was known as ricochet flying. As the word ricochet suggests, the Gauntlet Knight kept flying at fierce, sharp angles without losing any of their speed. Normally, flying like this would put enormous Gs on their brain, and all over their body, likely killing them instantly. However, 8MS Tech has freed them from all of the ground's restrictions. Even amazing mid-air movements like these are now possible. Wasn't quite in the box, so I don't know where I was reading from. And I want you to pay close attention to this footage. This is a fire control system trying to target a Gauntlet Knight. As it tried to target the ricochet flying Gauntlet Knight, a computer-controlled sight indicator with prediction lines kept appearing and disappearing. The knight's movement, which ignored the common sense of physics, confused the fire control system, and it was completely unable to lock on to its target. All fire control systems created so far were completely useless against Gauntlet Knights. Though they can display this level of mid-air mobility, Gauntlet Knights are not planes. They truly are infantry, aerial augmented infantry. Their ability to land and take off is completely unrestricted, so they can carry out tactical operations anywhere a human is able to stand. By this point, Gauntlet Knights already possessed all the strengths of fighter jets, VTOL aircraft, and helicopters. So then, what about their weaponry? You're probably thinking that regardless of their mobility, they'll be completely useless if they don't have the firepower to take down their targets. But when it comes to Gauntlet Knights, that's an utterly needless concern. They are like superheroes, aren't they? The Dimension Container System, brought about by cutting-edge 4DP technology, made it possible for a person to take massive arsenals of weaponry and ammunition with them. The scene changed. A boy soldier who was apparently a Gauntlet Knight stood still in what looked like a vehicle's service station. Set about him in a radial pattern were all sorts of weapons and ammunition, like a weapon bargain sale. There were rows and rows of missiles designed for fighter jets, just as many precision smart bombs, and even several heavy torpedoes designed for major warships. This was clearly more weaponry than your average fighter jet. Furthermore, there were howitzers and their ammunition laid out alongside them, as well as multi-barreled machine guns with ammo belts folded several times over. And that wasn't all. There were also reconnaissance drones, several types of reconnaissance, signal flares, ammunition supply containers, and various construction kits, with everything down to the slightest detail packed in. This massive set of military ordnance can all be carried by a single Gauntlet Knight, and if they specialize in carrying capacity, they can fit in the same amount of weaponry as an attack carrier. Witness the armament of a battleship, and the mobility of a fighter jet. This is a Gauntlet Knight. But that's not all. For £10 more, they also possess an ultimate technique that cannot be reproduced with any currently existing weaponry. Watch and learn. The scene changed, and it now appeared to be an outdoor shooting range. The same Gauntlet Knight boy soldier stepped forward. Several adult soldiers stood side by side, some distance away, all pointing guns at him. Immediately after a whistle blew, the sound of gunfire and smoke rushed towards the boy as though a bunch of firecrackers had been set off. That was it. Nothing happened. It was a bit of a letdown. Do you understand what just happened? Let's slow it down a bit. The same scene was replayed in super slow motion. Bullets really were launched from the soldiers' guns. However, they were all bounced back along with a white glow from a spot directly in front of the Gauntlet Knight. The next time a whistle blew, a soldier who had been lying prone and wielding a light machine gun sent a signal, then laid down a powerful barrage. It was so fierce you could see what was happening clearly now, even without the slow motion. This is the Invincible Defense Gauntlet. Defense Gauntlet Knight, proudly wield the Rejection Shield. The scene changed again. The same soldier boy was standing in a different part of the shooting range, but this time, the camera was far away from him. Boom. After a countdown, the boy was swallowed up by a massive explosion like something out of a Hollywood film. But when the flames disappeared, he was still standing there with a blank expression as though nothing had happened. An invincible defense, and easy control over the skies, and the ability to use endless weapons at will, and every little bit of that is all compressed into a single Gauntlet Knight. In this new era, the numbers representing the military might of nations will surely shrink drastically. All we'll need to know is how many talented Gauntlet Knights each nation has. The screen changed several more times, showing various scenes of Gauntlet Knights training. Sometimes they led fighter jet formations, and sometimes they led aircraft carrier fleets. Then they landed jauntily on the ground, surrounded by a tank division. Come, boys and girls yearning to become defenders of peace. Wouldn't you like to join those who stand at the head of all militaries of peace, blazing the way into a new era? The aerial augmented infantry awaits you. Your country needs you. The moment you put a gauntlet on your left arm, you will become a Gauntlet Knight. So it's like an advert before the film starts. Oh, maybe not. Very nicely made. Do you think you could get it a bit shorter, though? My back's starting to hurt. Ugh. The old officer rose from a seat in the projection room, rubbing his back. A young, voluptuous female officer who seemed to be a private secretary helped him up. No, sir. We cannot make it any shorter in light of the regulations. Is that so? Very well, very well. By the way, kids like explosions, right? Bang, boom, and all that? We've got to add more flashy scenes. Also, the hook in the first 15 seconds is important. Understand? I studied film back in the day, so I know all about it. When the old officer started talking proudly, the other officers all took out notepads at once and made a show of writing it down diligently. Look at this moronic video they've made. As if just putting a robot toy on your arm could turn anyone into a superhuman being. In the first place, these aerial augmented infantry things are still just theoretical. If it was just a portable system for individual flight wielded by specialist troops, that'd be realistic enough. But then you throw in one bit of a ridiculous technology after another and call them Gauntlet Knights? Or are they superheroes from some American comic book? True, there weren't any lies in the catalogued specs. They could fly like fighter jets, carry weaponry like battleships, and set up invincible barriers like tanks. In that propaganda video, the brat looked like he was flying around happily. Still, the shock reduction provided by anti-G8MS isn't invincible. He did a bit too much ricochet flying, and after the shot, the capillaries in his eyeballs ruptured, eventually rendering him unconscious. If only they'd filmed it in one take, he'd probably still be able to see. Even the dimension container, which worked like a 4-dimensional pocket, kept having issues. Just how many brats have been turned to mincemeat when they tried to open it up, and they immediately got hit by an explosion before they could fire up their rejection shields? Even that rejection shield had only become stable very recently. And if it doesn't work perfectly, when a brat's flying at 800 kilometers an hour, all it takes is a lazily flying pigeon to smash their head to bits. Well, we'll soon have plenty of brats to work with. Put up flashy ads that at least look good, and you'll find all the stupid kids you'll need. After all, anyone would want to do it. If I'd been in my teens and someone told me I could become the face of our entire military flying unaided through the sky, I'd be screwed too. Still, a bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. In the end, it'll just be an e-sport, where you can't really fly outside the simulator. By the way, the aerial augmented infantry boy in this video really is young and bold. I'd like to get a chance to meet him. Do you think you could bring him to dinner tonight? Oh, that sounds excellent. Captain Okanagu. Major General, sir. I'm afraid to say that he's already perished in the line of duty. What? Is that true? What a shame. He looked magnificent, so I was hoping to give his career a boost. Too bad. Too bad. Truth be told, that explosion scene in the video just now was also the scene of his death, Major General, sir. The filming schedule was a bit too rushed, so he must have been overworked. He screwed up with his shield during the flashiest scene at the very end. So he died right that last bit that we had in the commercial. Thanks to that, we were forced to edit it to make it look like he'd survived a massive blast. God damn it. It's not like we've got the budget for this kind of thing. Sir, it's about time you went to your car. Oh, okay. Well then, keep up the good work, everyone. Also, everyone's eyes will be on the Aerial Augmented Infantry Division at the Battle Standard Festival. So make sure you give it your all. By the way, I believe a contestant from here in Japan will be representing the AOU, correct? Oh, is that our contestant? Yes, sir. It's Second Lieutenant Mitake Miyeo of the 17th Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad, Warcat. Damn it, if that skinny brat's supposed to be representing the rising sun at the International Battle Standard Festival, this world really is screwed. Okay. Welcome to A3W When They Cry 5. And that's the intro. Okay, let's get started. Phase 1. Thank you for waiting so long for us to prepare. Now, I will finally start up the game. However, are you sure about this? This is merely my personal opinion, but I believe the difficulty level is quite high, given the present circumstances. Still, I am well aware that you know the joy of achieving victory, especially over conditions such as that. This is a considerably high tier level of difficulty, surely, after all. Your opponent is already fully prepared. Alright. This work was created in Japan in the year 2019. We cannot guarantee the possession of this work in the country you currently live in conforms to your country's current laws. Furthermore, if possession of this work results in any sort of damages, we cannot be held responsible for compensation. Oh, okay. Weird. What are you talking about? Additionally, distributing this work on the internet without the creator's consent is forbidden. You must agree to pay us 10 million Japanese yen if you break this rule. If you do not agree to take personal responsibility for owning and reading this work... Okay, well, I own this work. This is a work of fiction. Any similarities to real individuals, groups, religions, all of creation, the will of the universe, plans of God, or vacation document number 34 are entirely coincidental. That's funny. This work does not approve of any specific ideology, nor does it represent the ideology of its creators. To all video... Okay. Oh, awesome. That's for me! For this first phase, you have permission to record and distribute videos up until the end of the 7th chapter, Poyo. I'll let you know when you get there, Poyo. Thank you. So I can only go so far, is that right? Interesting. The end of the 7th chapter. Okay, I'll make a note of that. The top of the Super Tokyo Tower sat 666 meters above the ground. Surrounding it, the scenery of the night stretched as far as the horizon. The hustle and bustle of the surface didn't reach this place, nor did its troubles and complications. The sky is the only place we can be truly free. And there, atop of the antenna mast at the peak of the tower, I stood. My fear of heights is now a little more than a fond memory. Of course, that's not really such a great thing. In your everyday life, if you jump out a third-story window and seriously hurt yourself because you can't be bothered to go down a staircase, well, that's just a joke among people like us, but a pretty common one. What? Just to check, I glanced at my left arm. It was clad in a bulky contraption that resembled some piece of European armour. That device, which extended from my shoulder to my fingertips, was unsurprisingly called a gauntlet. Knowing it was there meant that I could relax and forget about the laws of physics. Whew! I let out a deep breath and gathered my wits. Then I slowly extended my right foot into the black void, the nighttime sea. Gravity pulled on my entire body and I slowly fell forward. I dove into the nighttime sea. The gentle change caused by gravity was soon accelerating me towards the ground at an incredible pace. I was in free fall, with the positions of heaven and earth swapped. A natural free fall without any force field manipulation feels the best. My body fell faster and faster. I can never get enough of this sense of acceleration. I was probably getting near the ground, but it felt as though I could sink forever through that black nighttime sea. Part of me wanted to wax poetic, but this was simple vertigo. The sum of my mental data, not including sight, left me fully aware of the speed and trajectory of my fall, as well as the surrounding terrain and the time to impact. The instant before I smashed into the asphalt of the Ciconia Expressway, I kicked off the empty air, and the ballistic curve of my descent snapped into a right angle. In the vacant space I'd launched from, something blossomed, delicately bathed in white phosphorescence. Phosphorescence? They floated in the air, incredibly beautiful. Almost as though an angel's feathers are being scattered about. Ciconia when they cry. Gravity no longer bound me. Though my body was that of flesh and blood, it now soared like a swallow. I'll glide so low, I'll be a hair's breadth away from scraping the asphalt off the Ciconia Expressway. A train bridge came into sight before me. Across it raced one of those new steam engine locomotives that just debuted this year. New steam train? The steam engine is synonymous with economic revolution and kicked off a wave of technological advancement. It was also the first step towards mechanized technology. I doubt any of the great technological geniuses of the past would have expected it to make a comeback after the nuclear age. Oh, I see. Steam trains are back. Of course, though it resembled an old steam engine, its operating principle is completely different. After coal, then oil, and then the atom, humanity got its hands on a new ultimate fuel. It was called spiritium. When spiritium engines convert energy, they expel large clouds of a mist that resembles water vapor. And so the haze of countless spiritium engines exhaust has become the mark of a massive city. I happily burst through the vapor billowing out of that steam locomotive. This would look great animated, wouldn't it? A forest of skyscrapers awaited me on the other side. All over were buildings with Victorian and Art Nouveau themed designs. I'm fucking up these words. Like a scene out of the 19th century. The brick facades and spires were beautiful. The golden glitter of the brass, steam, pipes, tangled over every surface, was also gorgeous under the floodlights. There were also Japanese-style electric billboards and interspersed throughout it. That slightly twisted yet strangely appealing contrast was the essence of the Tokyo metropolis at night. The cityscape style and fashion sense were all reminiscent of the 19th century. However, behind the artistic veneer celebrating the rebirth of an economic golden age lay state-of-the-art inventions that could fairly be called the ultimate in human tech. And at the cutting edge of that cutting edge, it had finally become possible for a flesh and blood human to fly like this. Of course, this power was only available to a few people so far. I was one of those lucky enough to enjoy this privilege. Every era and every society is fundamentally crap when you get right down to it. But there's one thing I can say. Being granted the ability to fly freely like this makes me glad I was born in this era. Being careful not to fly too high, I raced through the forest of skyscrapers and billboards. This felt way more like flying than staring down from above did. The newspapers keep saying we should cut down the number of electric billboards to avoid disrupting the city's scenery, but I kinda like this look. After all, Tokyo has looked like this since the day I was born. Why should I give a damn about the ancient Tokyo those adults long for so much? This is our Tokyo. As I continued to pick up speed, I slipped past billboards that stretched out over the road and seemingly competed with each other. Greater Tokyo Securities, Mayu Spiritum, Yao Yuzu Life Insurance, Cure-alls from Manchido, mental displays of Fujix, by Fujix, Cat Karaoke Sushi Cosplay, now get 101 SR wheel spins free, Isai foodstuffs, eat wisely, mighty soldiers of a rich nation. Snacks recommended by the National Defense Boys Club. Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola bottlers are the official sponsors of the International Battle Standard Festival of Peace. Oh, that's where we're going, isn't it? Or that's where we're going to be the leading soldier of, or whatever it's called. I glanced down and saw a gleaming swarm of cars blanketing a highway that wound through the downtown district. The exhilarating feeling of gliding right over all of them was by far the most primal part of the primal joy of flying. You know, you forget this feeling if you don't fly every now and then. It's only natural that flying through the air is exhilarating. Oh, at that moment a little frog character hopped into the corner of my mental display. It was Selcom's beloved mascot, Kirapoyo. Then it made a mental announcement with that funny default voice. A friend has arrived, Poyo! Immediately, a friend started talking to me through my Kizuna. Who the heck's doing that? I'm busy focusing my mind by remembering my primal self. Well, I guess there's only one person it could be. Hey, taking a nice relaxed pleasure in flying in a place like this? Pleasure flight. Leave me alone. I bet you haven't warmed up enough yet, huh? Well, Super Genius Jaden has come to play with you. Sheesh, you're such a pest. It was my annoying partner. He never leaves me alone, even when I'm trying to focus my mind in solitude. When you say partner. Yeah, warming up is important. For someone like you, at least. Huh. As if you didn't expect me to show up right about now. I'm flying for my own sake. It's not like I was waiting for you. You're such a cute tsundere, Mayo. Mayo. What a pain in the ass. Okay, sure. I'm in. It's all this weird text at the top and bottom. I don't want people blaming me if you screw up later on. Activating Dimension Container Poyo. So, are we using competition rules? Activating Reaper's Eye. Friendly unit, Jaden, located. Registering as hostile Poyo. Nah, we can leave it like this. You like this place, right? Hostile unit Jaden has activated its Reaper Eye. We've been located, Poyo. Tuh. Don't act like you're doing me a favour by saying that. We don't need a killjoy-like rules. Let's just go all out on each other. While we smack-talked each other, we both started circling the Mayu Spiritium building, hiding behind it. It blocked our line of fire, but in a gauntlet fight, cover like something from an infantry battle meant nothing. Time to get started. Let's play! Whoa. When Maeo thrust out his right arm, a burst of luminous angel feathers danced around it, and one after another, guided missiles winked into existence. It looked like an ancient magician summoning familiars. The missiles launched one after another. circling around the building and aiming for Jaden on the opposite side. Then, not a beat later, Mayeo summoned into existence a massive several-barreled Gatling gun, big enough that it covered his body. After all, just as Mayeo had launched guided missiles around the building, Jaden had launched missiles back at him. The missiles that appeared one after another from behind the skyscraper were met by Maeo's Gatling gun. They were rapidly caught by the hailstorm of bullets exploding one after another, bursting the skyscraper's windows to glittering dust. What, they actually wrecking the place, or is this just virtual reality now? The Gatling gun, which floated in the sky above Maeo's right hand, was exactly like those loaded onto the warships to defend against anti-ship missiles. These were supposed to weigh over 9 tons. However, it continued to float there over Maeo's arm as if it weighed nothing at all. I see the way you're guided your missiles is as twisted as ever, Mayeo. Jaden intercepted Maeo's guided missiles, which had come flying around at him in the same way. If they had come flying via a traditional maneuver, aiming directly for their target, it would have been easy to intercept them. However, these two could control the flight paths of all the missiles they launched. For that reason, no computer could completely intercept a volley of the high maneuverability missiles as they approached along such complicated trajectories. The missiles were being guided by humans, so it took a human to intercept them. Your missiles are pretty twisted too. Duking it out with you would make anyone twisted. They circled at high speeds, shooting down the missiles that chased them one by one. Naturally, both were simultaneously guiding missiles intercepting them and also controlling the speed and direction of their own flight. It would be impossible for a normal person to do all this at the same time. That's why Gauntlet Knights were admired by children. No, by people everywhere. In a battle between superhumans like this, how you fool your opponent is vital. Even games that appear to be completely intellectual, like chess and shogi, are eventually decided with a physical contest, depending on the glucose levels in your blood. They were being chased by swarms of missiles flying in complex trajectories, constantly intercepting them, while still firing missiles themselves and looking for a chance to corner their opponent. Doing so was brutally exhausting. And the instant you gave your opponent an opening, they'd take advantage of it and end the whole thing. That was how a standard one-on-one fight between Gauntlet Knights went. So, you think you can win if it's an endurance dogfight, huh? Don't forget, Mayeo. I know. You're a super genius, right? Yep. I'm Super Genius Jaden. Super Genius Jaden. The next instant, Jaden scattered glowing feathers through the air as he changed his movement pattern. We scattered glowing feathers through the air, okay. He turned at a right angle, heading straight towards a floor of the building. He burst through the massive glass windows and flew inside. The entire 58th floor of the Mio Spiritium building is a single observation deck restaurant. He raced through the empty restaurant, sending tables flying. While playing a fierce game of tag with guided missiles, Jaden had also been investigating. They can't actually be doing this, surely. He had accessed the floor plans for the Mio Spiritium building that had been the center of their dogfight. Surely that little frog is orchestrating this whole world that they're fighting in. It's like a mental battle. The building screening the two of them from each other had instantly become a shortcut. You little... I'm a super genius. Hear me roar! The entire building was pierced as he performed an all-out body slam backed by a force field. Despite that, Mayeo just barely managed to dodge. He kicked off the empty air and sent glowing feathers flying, changing his direction at a right angle and plunging straight down. Of course, Jaden hadn't been naive enough to hope that his surprise attack would land a clean hit. However, in dodging, Mayeo had been forced to make too sudden of a vector change, and the anti-G 8MS in his body had been used up almost all of its energy in an instant.
Energy depleted. Beginning recharge, Poyo. Until you're fully recharged, you can't do anything at all, Poyo.
Without any energy left, Mieo lost all control and could do nothing but let himself free fall straight down. His energy would recharge soon, but in an extreme close combat situation like this, the pause would be utterly fatal. Jaden was looking down on him, from above in complete control. Their raw, unaugmented gazes crossed. What's that? Oh. Jaden swung his right arm down, scattering glowing feathers about as he summoned a .50 caliber heavy machine gun.
Enemy unit Jaden has achieved target lock. Energy recharge in progress. Evasive maneuvers highly recommended, Poyo. But too bad, Poyo. You're still recharging, so you can't do anything, Poyo. Oh, but even if you're still in freefall, you can still pray, Poyo.
God damn it. This new version of Kiropoyo sure is an arsehole. Gotcha. Mieo!
Ignition.
Huh? Even when supplemented by the Reaper's Eye system, which makes it possible to observe the entirety of the surrounding area, people tend to focus on a single point when they get excited. In that instant, all other directions become a blind spot for them. So by the time he saw that, it was already right behind him. At exactly the same time Mieo made his emergency dodge downwards, he had summoned a missile directly above himself. He had just summoned it in mid-air, nothing more. It was merely a floating object, not guided or moving in any way. So it entered freefall and was now right behind Jaden. However, it wasn't as though he hadn't given this missile any orders. It had just one. Kill Jaden, and that was to explode after a few seconds delay. A massive explosion engulfed Jaden from behind. An instant later, pure white angel feathers were scattered all over the area in front of the blast. It was a sign that the rejection shield had blocked the explosion. A Gauntlet Knight wouldn't succumb to a little attack like that. They could fly about at will, arm themselves at will, and also shield themselves at will. It was an invisible shield, an invincible shield at that, usable only by Gauntlet Knights, who could perform a, oh no, Dreisig conversation on Spiritium unaided. Dreisig? A rejection shield. They could extend it instantly, blocking any form of sort of attack. However, depending on the strength of the attack and whether the defender was taken by surprise, doing so could expend a massive amount of energy. Like his shirt. You got me!
As if I'd let you win with a little trick like that.
It had been a completely unexpected trap. And it had resulted in a blast to the back at extreme close range. Jaden had used up almost all of his energy in an instant. Triggering it at such close range would have taken you out with a shrapnel too, but you got me to put up my shield and block it. You really are crazy, awesome, and totally screwed up. Mieo! Sending glowing feathers scattering with the last of his energy, Jaden rapidly accelerated towards Mieo. And Mieo, who was in freefall, waited for Jaden as he came to settle this.
Jaden!
Mieo! Surrounded by dancing fragments of glass, glowing wings, and shrapnel from the blast, the two men with raised fists collided.
Slap!
Gotcha! As the pair descended in freefall, two punches containing all of their strength crossed. It was a cross counter. So, would they have taken each other out? No. Jaden's got the longer reach. The victor was clear. If you're short, that means your arms are short too. Right, Mieo? With a little music note. Mieo! Jaden's right straight definitely reached Maeo's cheek, but Maeo's right straight didn't make it. The difference in reach was obvious.
Damn it!
In the end, the showdown between Gauntlet Knight Aces was decided not by wit, nor physical strength, nor glucose levels, but by height alone. Their energy was recharged and they regained control, rescuing them from the shackles of freefall.
I hate this right arm. Get me a saw. It's coming off. And I'll replace it with a rocket fist.
Sweet, let me know when you do. I'll even give you a special permission to punch me.
That's a promise, okay? Don't you go forgetting it.
Still, I'd expect no less from you, Maeo. I thought I'd launched the perfect sneak attack, but if it had been perfect, he wouldn't have been able to set a trap so quickly. I bet he figured I'd come at him through a shortcut and waited for me. I moved first so I was able to make it through the chaos somehow, but if I'd been a heartbeat slower, if Maheo had finished his preparations, I probably would have been taken out neatly. Not bad, partner. I may have won by a nose, but the battle's far from...
I let you win, obviously. I mean, you always get pissed when you don't win in the end. Naturally, I lost on purpose for the sake of your mental health.
Huh? And I was trying to be a gracious winner too.
No matter how you look at it, my trap worked perfectly, and I won. In a real battle, it wouldn't end with a punch. And my recharge would have been at least 1 second sooner. Then if it were a real battle, I would have blown you away with a force field and slammed you against the wall, winning!
Ah, damn it. We almost closed out that scene so neatly, and now you've ruined it. Though he said this, Jaden laughed, looking somewhat amused. Mieo wasn't really the sore loser he sounded like. They'd both just been scuffling and playing. And look, now he's smiling too. However, his expression transformed utterly a second later.
But you know what? That was way too reckless putting your body on the line with a sudden sneak attack like that. In a real battle, we would have taken each other out. Or you might have hit the building and blown yourself up. Aren't you supposed to be a super genius? Then don't fight in a way that'll end in a mutual kill with both you and a super normal enemy.
I know that. We were playing, so I just had a little bit of fun, okay?
And that's not all. The paths of those first suppression missiles were too simple. You keep getting stuck in a pattern without twisting it up a bit. And you wasted time when intercepting missiles. Your trajectory when dodging was weak too. Just look at the trajectory data. 3 seconds after you started intercepting missiles. What a pointless maneuver. Get rid of the loss from this part, and you would have had enough energy to finish me off in the final clash. And look at the trajectory data from 23 seconds later, 24.2 seconds later. Make gravity inertia your friends instead of wasting your anti-G 8MS. Hey, are you listening to me, Super Genius Jaden?
Great. Here comes another lecture mode, Maeo. Maeo sent him bits of battle action data one after another marked with red annotations. At first I thought this guy was so annoying, acting like he was my instructor or something. However, when he lectures people, he's definitely not letting his emotions get the better of him. The thing he points out are always accurate. And most importantly, he really does watch people. Normally in a fight, you only think about how you're going to take down your opponent, not about how super strong you'll be when you win, right? Maeo is always watching his opponent when he fights. Always thinking. It might sound weird when I put it this way, but he's always seriously thinking about his opponent's feelings.
However, the way you demonstrated parallel thinking by searching for a way to strike back while playing tag with missiles wasn't bad. You used evasive maneuvers to gain yourself a moment of time to stockpile your mental resources, which you have employed effectively. Judging by your level of strain, you minimized the amount of unused mental resources throughout the fight.
Well, it's not like I can leave any of my brain unused in a fight against you, Mayo. See? He really does look closely at his opponent's feelings. He may never miss it when someone gets clumsy or screws up, but he also never misses it when people work hard. I tried in my own way to make use of the precious advice he gave me in our previous match, and it looks like he really noticed.
You tried in your own way to confront the problems you had the last time we fought. That's what makes you a super genius, Jaden. Nice work!
Damn it. Why the hell am I blushing at a compliment from a guy? This is why. I've never had any desire to quit being your buddy.
A friend has arrived, Poyo.
Then, Kazuno's Kiropoyo notified me that a bunch of friends had arrived at once. Sheesh. Couldn't you let the two of us flirt alone in peace? Flirt? Hey. What's going on here?
Seriously? Just when you should be trying to preserve your sugar levels, you start up an all-out battle. We didn't do much. Just a bit of a warm-up. Right?
That's right. Just a bit of light stretching. Okay, so that wasn't the actual place. That was all virtual reality. Augmented reality. Virtual reality.
Your blood sugar levels don't agree. Friendly unit Lilia has registered as hostile. Friendly unit Koshka has registered as hostile.
Oh, look, there they are.
Who could have guessed we'd find a couple kittens playing in a place like this? Meow.
Well, this looks like a place worth smashing.
Hey! Lydia, Koshka, stop that! This is no time for a battle. I won't forgive you for having fun in a place like this while we were getting bored to tears by that ceremony. Meow! Mew, mew, meow!
Interesting characters. I was so bored. Time to blow off some steam to make up for it.
Let's see who can tear down the others first. Meow! There's no way I'd ever lose to a hick like Koshka. Meow!
Don't make me laugh. I'll take on you and all the others and crush you.
Go ahead, and do it if you can. I'll beat up Meow and Jaden and plant you upside down in the Siberian permafrost. Meow, meow. Enemy units Lydia and Koshka have activated Reaper's Eye. You have been targeted, Poyo. Enemy unit Lilja has summoned up an anti-air mine dispenser, Poyo. Enemy unit Koshka is summoning an anti-gauntlet sniper rifle, Poyo.
This frog is annoying.
Hey, just stop it already. The instructor.
It's gonna get instructor. Oh, it is to say instructor. Jesus. It's gonna get mad at me.
Odds of Chloe getting chewed out by the instructor now at 99%, Poyo. Go.
Well, I can't take this anymore.
Good grief. Mayo, Jaden, are you sure such a light warm-up was enough for you?
No, I was just thinking it was time for a real warm-up. Right, Mayo?
Yeah. This time, let's check our ability to work as a team. If you take a gamble like last time, I really will punch you, okay?
Sure. I'll just wait for you to get a rocket fist that can actually reach my face.
And it's decided. Chloe, we should warm up a little too. Friendly unit Gunhild was registered as hostile. What? No! Friendly unit Gunhild has initiated 8 MS surveillance and is now providing data to friendly units Poyo. Enemy unit Chloe has begun accessing Super Tokyo Tower's anti-air cannons, Sakura 1, And a Sageo 1. Pollo! She may try to hide it, but Chloe's totally on board with this. Ah! Just let me take all of you out. Instructor, none of this is my fault. I'll happily take first strike. Meow. I'm gonna eat everything up. Not gonna leave a scrap for Koshka.
If you and my target line up, I'll skewer you.
Do it if you can. Meow. Meow.
Here they come. Let's go, Mayo. So there's going to be another fight now, is there? I guess that's a good point as any to call this the end of an episode. Thanks for watching. And I guess I will see you next time on Borderline Games, where we'll play some more Ciconia When They Cry. 5? Is it really the 5th one? I'll have to look that up. But anyway, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.